Hey, the right side of the screen shows the output of the code that we'd be working on. The left side shows the website that I would be using to scrape the data from. This website gives a summary of the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I've scraped all of the 32 lessons and listed on this page. If you look closely, the header and the paragraph from the website is similar to the output of my code. That's because I've scraped these specific texts from this website and printed it in my console. So I'll be starting with a new file, but firstly, I would import two modules. If you don't have these modules pre-installed in your system, what you can do is pip install them. These modules are BeautifulSoup 4 and requests. Now to install them, you would rather use pip install, or you can use the instructions that I've given below in my description. Also, you would require a third-party parser. I'm using LXML. You can use HTML5 or any other parser that you want. You can install the parser using pip install LXML. Now, since I've already installed the parser in my computer, so it says requirement already installed. After installation and importing of the modules, what we now have to do is create a variable called response. Now, what does this line of code does is that it makes an HTTP request to the website, which is this. You just copy the URL and paste it in the parameters as an argument. And it makes an HTTP request to the website, which in return gives us a response object. Now this response object consists of the content of the website, the HTML code structure, and the status code of the website, etc. You can try printing the status code of the website to know that the website is running. If the website is temporarily down or has been removed, the status code would then say 404. After we have done importing the modules and creating the response object, we can dive into working with BeautifulSoup module. But before that, I would have to convert this response object into an HTML string. Now, why did I convert it into a text or a string? It's because to create a BeautifulSoup instance, the argument should be in the format of string so that we would be able to carry out string functions on the HTML code. And the parser would be specified as LXML. Instead of LXML, you can use HTML5 or HTML.parser as well. And if you don't specify any parser, this code would run fine, but you would have a warning displayed in your console. Now what do we need to do is find the data that we want to extract. And to do that, I would simply press Ctrl+Shift+C, and this brings up the inspector, the element inspector. Now I want the data, that is the header and the paragraph. So first I might just start with the header. When I see it in the inspector, it says that this heading is under the h2 tag, which has an ID 9871. What this line of code does is that it finds the first occurrence of the h2 tag in the website. Now if I try to run this, it would give me the h2 tag along with the text. But this is not what I want. You see, this is a little different than what I've got in my console. And what it points to is this header. Now, how do I specify what header do I want? Well, I can use the ID attribute from this inspector element. And how do I do that? Is I specify it in the argument and give it the corresponding value. Now, if I try to print that, I would get what I want. But since I want to do it for all of the headers, it would be very inefficient to specify each and every tag. So what else can I do? So I can use a function called findAll. And now what this piece of code does is that findAll is a function which returns all the elements specified as a list. Now from this list, I'm taking the second occurrence of h2 tag in the website. And what this would give me is the same as what I've got above. Okay, here we go. And this gives me the same as what I've got above. If you see this and this, they both are matching. So how can I print all the elements or all the headers that I want? I would simply use a for loop. Now I've created a for loop to print all the tags. The range 1 to 33 signifies that I'm excluding the 0th element and iterating until the 32nd element, since the upper limit of the range is always excluded. I'm using the dot text method to get rid of the unnecessary text that we would be getting in our console. So if I run this piece of code, I would be getting all of the 32 headers that are present in the website or on the website. Let me clear that out. Now we have got the headers. We want to grab the paragraphs as well. I'll do the same thing what I did with the headers. I'll press Ctrl+Shift+C, click on the paragraphs and see where it is located. It is located inside another tag called block quote. Now this is where traversing comes into play. What I can do is make another variable called block, and here you would see that I've written two print statements, one where I'm printing block and one where I'm printing block.p. So let me just run this and I'll explain what I'm trying to do over here. Okay, so this is the first statement. Here you would see that I'm printing the block quote tag. But in the second statement, what I'm trying to print is the same thing, but I'm excluding the block quote and I'm now printing the P, which is the paragraph tag, which is up till here. So in this manner, you can traverse through the tags that are indented below another tag or indented below a parent tag. After that, we have figured out how to get to a certain tag, which is inside another tag. We can now print the header and the paragraph combined in a for loop. Now in this piece of code, you would wonder why I have subtracted 1 from X. Well, because we have an extra header that we do not need, and this is the extra header. But we do have the equal number of paragraphs. So in order to compensate for the extra header, we can subtract 1 from the paragraph's index. So in the end, it won't give us any index error. Also, you would notice that I'm using the P tag after I've declared the element. Now in this case, I've made a mistake, which is over here. Instead of just finding one block code, I would have to find all of the block codes. Now this would give me a list of block codes, and when I access the list using the block, I would be accessing each individual elements using this index, and only after that I would be able to use the .p to traverse to the paragraph section of the tag. And if I try to run the code, I would get the output that I've shown you previously. So if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section.